Okay, everyone, I want you all to repeat after me. Give me a 2. Give me an O. Give me an O. What does that say, you guys? What does that say? The big 200 or 200. Yeah, we have hit that milestone, which, holy shit, that is crazy to even consider for this. Hey, what's up, you guys? LuckyRave is here today to give you guys yet again another Black Clover podcast. This one's gonna be special because, like I said, we have hit the big 200 milestone. Which, like I said, also, it is crazy to even consider that we're this far deep into the story and seeing how much has changed, how, kind of like where the characters are. I mean, wow. I don't even know where to begin. But, like always, as you guys know, I can't really do these podcasts by myself. I mean, theoretically, I could, yeah, but what fun would it be just to have me here, like every other YouTuber, just talking about a said series when I could just be doing that with a buddy, a friend. So, I have brought with me a special friend and a special guest. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Greetings, everyone. It is finally here, 200th chapter. It is I, Sparda3g, and unfortunately for the 200th chapter, I'm not in my best condition. I'm a little under the weather, as you could say. New York City has hitting the spring season, and then it hits fall again. It's weird. New York City has strange weather system. Sometimes you just don't believe in the akin weather forecast. It's just why bother? You just go with the flow. So unfortunately, it keep changing the temperature. It went from like, ooh, it's very summer-like, and then it went, oh, it's very fall-like. It probably got to me. I doubt it's allergy. I rarely, if not ever, got an allergy season. So lucky for me. But unfortunately, the coldness, that's something you cannot escape from. Well, I mean, if you can, good for you. But for me, it seems like it beat me down. I'm not really sure. But right now, I'm not in the best condition as I can. But I decided to still go with the podcast because I really want to talk about this. This is the 200th milestone. It's really great to see Tabata make it this far, especially considering that his last work, well, didn't went that far enough. But now look at this. He has made it to the milestone, and we should all congratulate him for reaching this level. Now we can only hope for another 200th chapter, which will be like 400 chapters, but that day will come like estimate 5 years, 4 years, 5 years around there. But still, yeah, it's around there. So, yeah, it's great to see that this series has reached the 200, and it's great that it has improved a lot from the last time I talked about this series. But yeah, even if I'm a bit under the weather, I will do whatever it takes to talk about this 200th milestone.
Yes. In commemoration of the 200th chapter, I'm actually reading this verbatim off from the color page. Volume 20, which we did talk about last week in terms of the cover. That's also on sale too. So, yeah. Take that into consideration. So, we got the volume and we got the 200th chapter. What timing?
I'll say. It's like they've been planning this all this time.
It's like I said in the last podcast. Like, Tabata has like a huge chart on his wall, and he's like, okay, the 20th volume is already complete. let me tell the big guys in suits, like, hey, Shueisha, I know the 200th chapter is coming up, but is it possible for you guys to possibly release volume 20 around that point? Thank you. It's like, okay. I doubt Tabata's the one that decides the release dates, but that is quite interesting.
I guess it's like the similarity to hey, I want to end on the 700th chapter. You know? Sure, well, why not? It makes sense. He's a 7, he will be the 7 Hokage. He will be the 7 member. He's from Team 7. Everything is 7. You are 7, he's a 7, everyone's a 7. 7, best number ever. 7 Dragon Ball, but so maybe that is a part of the plan. Oh, 200 chapter, 20th volume. Let's do it.
Just to clarify one thing about the 20th volume, because they actually finally updated this on the wiki. The last chapter of volume 20 is 194. Yeah!
Really?
That is the final chapter of the volume. So, yeah, to any people who just read the volumes, ooh, you guys are in for...
What just happened? What just happened? Where's volume 21? I'm not reading Weekly Shonen magazine. I want a volume now. I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, you'd be surprised. There are people like that, though. Like, I'm not reading volumes. I am issues. I'm reading volumes. That's not a bad thing. I mean, so I do that sometimes, but still.
I think the only series I did that for was it was a spin-off series too. Shit. Before the Fall, there we go. Yeah, Attack on Titan. That's the only one I was like, yeah, I'll keep up with the volume since someone decided to drop the translations. I'm like, fine. So that's the only way I'll keep up with the chapters. I'll just read them through that. Thank you, Kodansha.
Makes sense to me.
Even with that, the color page, I have to say, it is very good. For sure, because you got a Lily there, a little on the side, then you got Lit, Riha, and then you get the kid versions of Asta, Yuno, and Patoli, which is kind of saying a lot when it comes to the chapter. Well, at least for 2 characters, but that is kind of cool, to say at least. For it's like, yeah, pinning for a new page and the story of a fleeting, transient dream. I like how Tabata like went all out with the color page. I mean, he usually does. I'm not gonna say he doesn't, but this one just sticks out more, my personal opinion. But what about you, Sparta? Like, what's your thoughts on the color page, color spread?
Actually, it actually match up with the chapter 200 contain. And I mean, like, of course, you're not gonna think right away. You're like, oh, okay, I know what's gonna happen here. They're going to be friends together. I mean, you're half right. I wouldn't say friend part. That's a different story, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But you get the idea that it's gonna center around their like under the same roof of like camaraderie. But it's a complicated situation. But I do like the color page itself because I don't know. It feel gentle, feel kind, feel warm. Even after all this crazy plot twist, crazy dark turn of event, it's like this type of atmosphere. It feels soothing for me. I mean, yeah, the last color page was pretty neat because it's like a spin-off world with the high school era, and I like that stuff. But still, like when it comes to like connecting to like the actual universe, it's actually pretty nice to see something like more kind-hearted instead of like there's always dangers. Oh, how badass! Nothing wrong with that. It's just something a nice change of pace. That's just how I see it.
Right, I can definitely agree with that too. And also, the chapter title is called "The World of Light." Interesting title, I should say. Speaking about the chapter in and of itself, we do continue off from the last chapter where we see Nozel. We see Patri, who is kind of in wraps in Mercury, which was kind of cool. It's like, wow, okay. Then you have Riha, who's still on the ground. He's just thinking, no good. This is the end for me. Patri. Lit. And then this is something I actually kind of noticed that was happening, like, both in terms of like the comments, whether it's like from Reddit, Manga Stream, whatnot, and it's this whole aspect of Mimosa healing Riha, and he's like, wait, why? Mimosa brings up, I don't need a reason to save someone on the verge of death. Not now, not ever. I don't care if they're an enemy or from another race entirely. Now, I get the context behind that. I get the context behind that, and I do like how when she says that, you kind of get a parallel to Teteya, I think, is the Wizard King's sister. So, no, is it sister or is it his wife? Oh, I'm blinking right now. But
I want to say sister, but it could be sister. I mean, that's the idea, right? Like, hold on. What
yeah,
chapter will you see her in full-fledged version? Guess I have to open up the not
sister. Yeah,
advertisement. Okay, sister. I was about
yeah,
to open. I was about to open the
yeah. Because I was like, wait,
non-advertisement
that's
Shonen
Liz
app.
fight. Yeah, I remember. I was. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, yeah. It has to be the sister. I don't think was the Magic Emperor married. I'm
I
trying to remember.
don't know.
I know she. I know he had a sister. That's for certain. So
Yeah.
yeah, it has to be the sister.
hmm So I do think that's a nice little kind of. Well, I don't know if it's indirect. Well, no, it's not indirect, but there is kind of like a nice little parallel correlation, like panel to panel, exactly between Mimosa and between Tetea. And he's just kind of thinking there, just going like, "Damn it! In the end, I'm being saved by human royalty." So, Sparta, do you want to give your thoughts on this in regards to people kind of going like, because technically he was an enemy and he was going to end them essentially?
Well, well, somebody brought up a good point a long time ago. Well, not a long time ago. I mean, like referring to a long time ago scenario. I believe it was Zora. He's the one that mentioned that she kind of has this weakness of like being carefree spirited, meaning like whatever she does, she just does it because, well, I guess that she's just that freedom. The funny thing is, if you look at the volume 20 extras, they actually mention about how Mimosa doesn't have a symbol around her neck or something like that, and it's supposed to mean, a person that's willing to go for aiming for the Magic Emperor. She doesn't have that, meaning that she doesn't really care about aiming for like being a top, being a leader, being the big honcho. Instead, she's just like want to have freedom. And it kind of shows that the same thing with the not the latest ending, but what used to be the latest ending for the anime, where you just see her like, doing a smooth dancing scene. But the idea is her nature is pretty much a free spirited. So in this case, like her saving an enemy is more like, just I guess on the whim or on just based on her nature. It's like a self conscience, I guess you could say. Like this is just her just being her. And again, I someone brought it up that Zora didn't mention this. It would is like a weak point of her, but in this case, I think this will actually benefit more so than do damage. Like, oh, you just healed up or an enemy that still remain the enemy. It's not like she's healing a devil right now. She's just healing
No.
an elf. Yeah, I mean, if she healed a devil and then we restart from the beginning, then that's all her fault. Then we have to see her as the worst character of all time. I don't want that to happen. I mean, she's different from what you could say other female characters or any other character that usually be like a medic support. This is just a good chemistry of like her nature concerning the magic and her personality. It actually match up pretty well, so it kind of makes you feel like warm at heart. I guess you could say like, oh, this is why she's my best girl. I mean, I mean, I'm not thinking that way, but I can see why people would think that because it's just her personality. Her trace is just actually pretty gentle, and I do appreciate that she does this, even if it's like sounds like crazy. Like, damn, you're just doing it to an enemy. He's gonna come back and he's gonna stab you and stuff like that. But I see it as a more of a bless more this it's going to be clearly by the end of the chapter there's going to be a more of an upside more so than like a downside. It's not like, hey, I'm freeing Radders in Dragon Ball, like I should gonna let go of this tail. It's like, oh, you do, he's gonna kill you no matter what, no matter if you are brothers, he's gonna kill you. He doesn't care. So this is not the case like that. Here is more like a second chance, and we already know how much damage Rihad has done before by just not saying that anything truthful to Bartoli about the entire reincarnation, the human race, and so on. So this is like his second comeuppance. It's hard to say if he could say, hey, he's 100% redeemed, and we can't really say that yet. we just know that he's going to be useful for the next upcoming big battle. But we get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I didn't mind this scene. It fits her character. It's neat to see that she helping people because this is just based on herself. She doesn't need to like, oh, I need to be told that I gotta save you. This is all based on her what she sees, and that's what
Yeah.
it matters. Because I appreciate this type of character rather than like, oh, you gotta tell me what to do and this stuff. But yeah, so I appreciate this one. I like it.
What about your thoughts on like the similarities between her and the first Wizard King's sister?
I know somebody would say like, "Oh, does that mean she's a reincarnation of the sister?" Um, I, I mean, like, I wouldn't say it's far fetched. I can't say it's far fetched, but I would have bet on it. I would just bet on just the idea of like like world, these days,
Like that they're similar.
when it comes, yeah, you are bound to see somebody similar to somebody before or in the past. It's like, oh, I look like Abraham Lincoln. I'm just giving an example. Basically, I don't think it's based on reincarnation. I just think about like how there's similarity, a parallel per se, kind of like how Naruto does it in their universe. It's like you see a lot of similar character because they're like parallel. There's another series that does the same thing, but they're not like family related. It's just parallel. Period. It's just like, well, history repeats itself in a sense. So you could take it that way. I mean, hey, if she is a reincarnation, then damn, what a twist. But
Right.
as I stand by, right now, it's just more of the idea of like history does repeat itself, whether it's design or whether the action doesn't matter. The idea is human would be human, and there will be human that are nice. And luckily for him, Mimosa is a nice girl that we're willing to help, even if it's like under like, oh, we're enemies or whatever.
And honestly, I don't really see anything wrong with that. I really don't. Like at first, I had to sit on it for like a couple minutes and like really think about it, and then after letting those couple minutes like go by and actually like thinking about Mimosa's character, it actually does make a lot of sense why she would actually go out of her way to heal it because it's in her nature to help people. Now, like you said though, if it was the devil, ooh, yikes, yes, that wouldn't have been good. Not one bit.
How could you save the coolest guy ever?
No, believe me, there's a part in this chapter where I wouldn't bring that up, but I think you know what I'm going. Yeah. She's like, yeah, this is why I didn't want to get involved because, well, yeah, because no matter what the era, it's always like this. Well, it's Riha saying it, but and as Patoli's there, all mercuryfied, if that's even a word. New word today, yeah. Nozelle's like, now then, it's time to finish you off. And then I think it Asta. He's like, wait, hang on. I mean, is that really what we should be doing here? Is this our only option? And I also love like Yuno's reaction. He's like, I should have
just in there. Maybe I should just let it go and just let the guy die. And that includes my boss, William. Just let it go. Let it go.
Him and Nero have like almost they're not similar, but I think when he makes this face, like when it's like all chibi-fied, sounds like even more funny. Like, do you remember do you remember like when they were insulting Asta when the Wizard King invited them, and they were talking about like how Asta's not really bugged by it, and then you just see Yuno with like those eyes, like really, like.
I think I know what you're talking about. I remember that scene. I remember that one. Oh shit! Now I want to see that again. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I remember now. Oh shoot!
That was
I could imagine that if they would have done that. But we cannot let him die.
And then Nozelle.
But,
Oh, what?
Hmm? No,
Not
no,
like
actually, you was gonna get to that point right now. So I was like, oh, okay.
okay. Yeah, so then you get into going like, what other option would you have me do? This is the head of the Eye of the Midnight Sun. I mean, he brings up a good point. It's like, well, I mean, yeah, I know, but just wait a second, please. And that's when steps in and says, like, the body he inhabits is currently the body of Captain Bonjans. In my current state, I can tell. And Nozel is like dropping in dots, like with the question mark, like, Bonjans? What do you mean? His face and mana are completely different. Yeah, that's right. He doesn't know. He didn't get to witness what Yami did. Yeah.
Exactly.
He's like, I'm not sure. And plus, he just kind of points out that, well, not to mention, his sword might be able to return the captain back to normal. And Asta like, yeah.
I just find it funny how Asta's like, leave it to me, look at me, I got a sword. Did get any problem?
I know, right?
I don't know. I just hear like Doraemon, ta-da. I forgot to go like that, ta-da, something like that. That's what I imagine every time he has to do that pose, like, hey, leave it to me, yeah. And I just like Nozel response afterward, though.
And he's like, what are you saying? Do you want to die? I'm still thinking back to that one chapter when they were like just entering the Shadow Palace, and then Asta's like, "Are you saying we're gonna die?"
And he's like, "You're just looking for an excuse to kill me."
Right? Like, anyway,
oh man.
please,
Hey, whatever makes it easier to get to that Magic Emperor. I mean, the only person he has to worry about now is you, though. But we'll see.
He has a point. So then, Asta uses the sword, and then the anti-magic comes out, which is something he brings up. He's like, yeah, I need an insanely massive amount of anti-magic, far more than I've ever mustered up until now. The price for every deed must always be paid. Burn that deep into your heart, human. So this is where it comes into play. Yeah, because I remember, Gosha's elf form. I'm blanking on the name right now, but yeah, that guy. He's the one that brings up it, and it's actually kind of funny because that's the first podcast we did. So interesting.
That's true.
Interesting how that got brought up again.
And everything means something. Nothing left behind. Like this entire arc so far. It's like, oh man, I should have realized that a long time ago. I just ignored it because I thought it was not that clever. Well, you're wrong. It is clever. So that's our fault.
And then, like Asta. Then Asta delves into literally a trip down memory lane. Well, not his memory lane, but it's like, are these his memories? It's like his heart, his soul. Is everything the sword's absorbing flowing through me as well? Hate, unforgivable. Well, okay, so here's the good news. At least in his mind, he's not constantly saying hate, 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 death, because that was something we joked about a lot in the last podcast. So at least that's not what's going on. Padre saying all this. That's my head. It hurts. Hate. Repulsive. Hate. Unforgivable. And then we see this, which I know we've brought up that none of them know yet, other than Yami and a couple other people, that Julius is dead. That's not the case now.
That's one way to find out.
Yeah.
You let Julius die.
Oh God.
You want to know why I've become the greatest villain? Because you let Julius die. Oh God.
Flashbacks, man.
Yeah. I mean, like, actually, we will. I'll save my opinion when we cover the entire chapter.
Funny enough, that was also a big milestone chapter too. I gotta think about it.
Yeah.
Huh. 3 times the digit as where we are right now. Yeah. Asta's like, the Magic Emperor. Yep, so Asta has now discovered that the Magic Emperor, the Magic Geek himself, that's what a lot of people call him, Julius Novachrono, was murdered. That did happen. And then he's also just kind of like seeing all the other memory pieces too, like with the devil. Like empty, miserable, trying, frustrating, sorrowful. And thus we see Patri still having a mental breakdown. And we see this huge tree with like roots coming out. And a person who is kind of trapped, which is vengeance. Let's not beat around the bush on that. That is definitely him. So yeah, there's that. And thus, Patri's like, for the sake of Lit, I was fooled. It was a mistake to resurrect everyone. I didn't want any of this. I made the wrong decision, and I cost the lives of countless victims. I was never chosen at all. Humans are evil. Really? Is that really what I want to believe? Well, if it's really true, then what about William? If we could just understand one another. Like, impossible. You'll never understand one another. Humans are evil. They're foolish and disgusting. They can't be forgiven. Humans are all evil. That's right. The humans are the bad ones. It's their fault. And then Asta jumps in. It's like, what's up, you little jerk? Pleased to meet you. Name's Asta. At last we meet. The soul inside you is a little brat for whom time stopped at right around the same age as me. What do you want? You were deceived and weren't able to protect the most important to you. And thus you lost the sight of light you believed in. This is Asta talking, by the way. He's like, you've been ravaged all this time by an endless storm of emotions. I can tell. But that's exactly why. That's exactly why I'm saying this to you. Asta just says, don't give up. Doing this is nothing more than running away. Look at you here, abandoning all your thoughts and blocking them out, because after all, locking up yourself in the darkness is much easier, isn't it? I wonder what else this is reminding me of. Yeah. Moving on before I go further with that. Yeah, so Padres are like, shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up! What the hell would you know, human? You human! Shut up, human! I'm Asta. How dare you? You killed the Magic Emperor, didn't you? It's like he was such an amazing, incredible person, adored by everyone. We all looked up to him and idolized him, and yet you used everyone as a hostage in order to kill him. With your reincarnation, you hurt so many people all across the kingdom. And this is Asta thinking, just like how you can't forgive humans, I'll never forgive you. That's why we should just set everything that's happened till now aside. But look at the state you're in. What's with you? You've done things that can never be taken back. So what? You're just gonna lose yourself to despair and just throw your arms up and surrender now? Huh. You need to finish what you started. You need to help us stop that bastard. You're the one who started this all. You're the ones who brought things to this state. Even if you didn't choose any of this, even if you didn't want any of this, and forgiveness has nothing to do with anything anymore. Whatever sad, sorry state you may be in, get on your feet and see this through to its end. And he's like, what the hell is your problem? Why are you so dead set on this? Why are you so committed to this? Just leave me alone. This is Padre's thoughts, by the way. And he's like, although it was never what I chose, and it was never what I wanted, and though I was never acknowledged, I decided for myself. I would become the Magic Emperor. That's why all of you never give up. All of you can't give up either. And I gotta say, like, looking at the two panels, like, of Asta, like, back in, like, the early days of Tabata's art, and comparing it to now, on that bottom panel, whoa. So much detail. There is so much detail, so much more, sharpness? if that's the right word I want to use.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think sharpness would be a good way to say it.
yeah. Wow, that's incredible. Just to see that. And thus, we have Padre. He truly understands this. And, he grabs onto Asta and, kind of bumps his head against him. On his cloak, I should say. So, and given that, we see the tree sort of disappearing as there's a huge beam of light that just kind of shines down. And essentially, that's kind of like the end of the inner thoughts. You could equate this to, say, Naruto and Sasuke, as a lot of people are joking, or Naruto and Obito, the coolest guy ever. Yeah. This is where that joke gets brought back into the play. Yeah, you're welcome, guys. I will say, this, unlike Obito, I can actually get behind this. I can actually get behind this 100% because, yes, you could say while Patri was indirectly involved with everything that's happened, when you really look at it from a story schematic standpoint, from a character standpoint, and kind of given what's going on in his inner psyche, it's not like he's still evil. He still believes in what he's doing, and it's not like he's listening and going like, "Oh yeah, I believe, I believe." It's it's not like that at all. Instead, what we have here is Asta just going like, "Hey, I know what you did is pretty messed up. You did some crazy shit. You killed the Wizard King, which I'm not gonna forgive you ever for doing that. But
Oh, woe is me.
but also just realize that there's some other bastard out there right now. And if we don't stop him, then all hell will break loose. Literally, all hell will break loose if we can let him do whatever he's doing. And like I said, I just personally feel this had a lot more effect going for us, especially coming from Asta's side of things, where if Asta really wanted to, he could have went balls to the walls deep and beat the living shit out of Patri for what happened to the Wizard King. But instead, we kind of see Asta sticking to his morale, sticking to the character that he is, and for that, I think it actually worked out pretty well. Sparta, how did you feel about this entire segment between Asta and Patri?
Okay. When you look at the surface, when you look at it without a context, it is definitely sounds like something that you would hate because, hey, an enemy has become my ally. Even though if you stretch enough to say an enemy became my friend, like greatest friend of all time, coolest guy ever. That's out of context. That's out of context. Now, when you look at within the context, when you look in the deep down how these two handle in terms of conversation, especially from Asta's side, definitely from Asta's side, he was the one. He's the main guy. He's the main guy that you wanted to see if how he's gonna handle this situation. You gotta remember they went in there to get Vargas, but instead they got Patoli back out and did not only that, but ally with him. So that's a different outcome rather than what they're supposed to do in the first place. So everything has changed differently than they expected, but for the greater good. Now, when it comes to how did it happen, that's where I can't say I didn't like it. I can't say that because it works. It works in a way that it needed to be done this way, and it's the most logical way to do so. Because if you were to say, see, the funny thing about the whole Naruto talk no Jetsu, like, it did get overbearing. It did get overhand. It just got out of control. The only time that actually works well, and somebody did brought it up, which I do agree, to be honest with you. The only time that worked well, only if you go by the volume version, is against Nagato.
Yeah.
That was the only time that actually works well because I remember vividly where Naruto confronts him and then he's like, "Okay, I'm right here. I find the real guy." And then he's like, "So after what I done to everything to your family, your friends, your city, or your town, your village, well, how do you feel?" Freaking angry. I'm so damn angry. I can't forgive you for it. Not one crap. I want you dead. And I remember Naruto was really pissed off. And I was like, well, he has all the rights. He lost his teacher, he lost his village, he lost a lot of things. I would have been super pissed too. It's just that once that Nagato describe his backstory, and then Naruto decided to tell Najutsu to see a different way, it makes sense. If you go by the issue version, it's actually kind of rushed and it kind of makes it nonsensical, especially the fact that it's like when it comes down to it, it's like, that book is a good book. Well, I changed my mind. But in the volume version, they extended I think 4, 5, 6 pages. I forgot how long. All I know is that Nagato is like, you're telling me I should believe in a book. It's a book. And they actually go deeper there, and they actually had one extra flashback, which actually helped out a lot. The only part that didn't help out is the aftermath because, well, the aftermath undo the damage, and that was the only part that should have ignored. But what can you do? So with going back to Black Clover, it's pretty much similar, except that Asta wasn't going there to make friend. Asta was supposed to go there to get Vargas, but instead, once he see all the flashbacks and see everything that Patoli went through, he pretty much got the idea that, look, you did a lot of things. I see your pain. I see what you have to go through. I understand that your mission came from the fact that there was a tragic event with humans killing all your race, and you feel betrayed by the first Magic Emperor. With that said, all your action has done damage to us as well. In fact, you killed our Magic Emperor of today. And I really hate you for that. I hate you for that. I want you dead. And you talking about you're not going to ever forgive human. Well, guess what? Here's me, human, not forgiving you ever for doing that. So it's like a backlash. It's like a big mic drop on his face, pretty much. It's like, oh, you just need that meme with the, oh, and then you just see that guy just like, oh, shit, that meme. But that's what it was missing from that part. Bottom line is, Asta gets the idea that he started everything. He could understand where he come from, but he's not going to forgive him for every action he has done. With that said, he has to not back away or not run away from it, which Patoli almost did, especially when he was like, what if William wakes up? If he wakes up, I could just let him do all the work and I'll just stand by here, just be in the dark area forever on. But instead, has to drag him out because he wants him to finish what he started. And that's what the idea. But that's not the only idea, or that's not the reason why. Like, oh, I need you to finish it because I kind of want to see how it ends. It's more like, listen, you're a guy that started this shit. You gotta finish it up. And I can't stand people who can't finish it up because they're cowards. And I despise cowards. That's Asta's character. Asta's character is always about never giving up. That's his magic, as he always say. So seeing another person that giving up piss him off, of course. Not only that, he decided to bear all his hatred, his anger, his rage aside because he knows the circumstance right now is not about these two anymore. It's more about the devil because the devil has already shown to be powerful as hell. And instead of like, oh, I'm gonna kill this guy or just gonna eliminate Patoli and have William, who's still pretty much asleep, back to the surface, what am I gonna do? It's like you lost an ally. And especially when you look at the outcome, it's like, okay, this is for the greater good. But going back to the discussion between the two, the idea that Asta put his anger aside just shows that he's thoughtful and more mature than we all expected. Because if he would let the anger go through and let him kill Patoli, which would have been the right idea for a lot of people, but instead you might as well try to gain an ally. This became a factor of an enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's what it comes down to it. Nobody's asking for being friendship. Nobody's asking you. I see that you did a lot of bad things. It's not the idea that Asta saw something. And he's like, well, you killed Julius, but I see that you lost a lot of friends. So we're kind of like an equal. We're cool with that. This isn't after Pain Arc and Naruto, where that's where it becomes very ridiculous with the talking of justice, especially going against a big boss who has done far more severe damage. I'm not even going to describe, but the idea is that, yeah, I mean, like, it's funny because how everything he said to Nagato should have been said to Obito. It's like, that's a better candidate to say that. That's a better candidate to say that. But instead, it went to a bare minimum up to the point that a lot of dialogues, a lot of lines has become a meme, has become a very obscure thing. It's like that line from what's that movie? Actually, I should not say the movie, but it's one movie where the person just say like they're alive like me. Like I understand the message, but the line delivery it was so bad. It's just like it makes you face palm. So that's the case of like the coolest guy ever. It's like, yeah, saying it out loud, it sounds funny as hell. But the idea of like, I understand what he's trying to say with that line. Or, if you want to go by the Viz translation, he's like the most awesome or whatever, stuff like that. The idea is, I understand.
I was like,
yeah, I understand the idea. The problem is the delivery. The mere fact that he delivered that line without real context gives you the idea that he's so cool for everything he has done before, far before, and even even during it. So what? In here, Asta is not asking for a friend. He's asking to work together. And the only way to motivate Patuli is not only, well, he didn't intentionally do it because Patuli saw it for himself, only for himself. But his only motivation that Asta could have that has done for him is to tell him you got to finish what you started off, finish it up, owe it up, do what you had to do what you needed to do what needs to be done. For Patoli, what motivated him extra, or if anything, could be the real peak, is the fact that Asta truly acts like the first Magic Emperor in terms of kindness, in terms of set the priority right. Like, again, back then, the human and elf, they would have gotten together. They could have gotten together. They could have actually formed a pack and be like under one roof rather than try to be in a separate area. And then you know what happened after that. So that's how Patuli comes to his senses. And you know what? It's not like Patuli decided to become a best friend with him, but he decided to finish it up where he has started in the first place. So, but in the end, it ends up being a better path for everyone because not only Patoli is back to normal, and he is pretty strong, but he also has like based on his eye, he pretty much still had the darkness thing. So he's gonna be quite powerful now as well.
It's not like him and Asta like all buddy now.
No, they're not buddy. They're just forming a pack as again, an enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's like I don't know, something. Let me think of modern stuff. Modern Warfare 2. It's like that. It's like, okay, because like in that very game, they made a pack, but then when you play part 3, they fight each other because, well, they're enemies. That's the idea of enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's not real friend, but you're just forming a pack because you have another enemy that you don't like, or even worse than that,
another comparison you can make is and Halo 3, like when it's like you and the Arbiter and the Flood, when the three of you have to team up to take out the Prophet, that was brief too. I remember that was like for like one instance, but I remember that happened.
Right, exactly. It's like they had to take years and years later to make an actual friendship, but and that very starting point, they pretty much did a pack, and They let their life be go separate ways. We don't know what's gonna happen after they take care of the devil. Maybe they will. Maybe they will try to make things up. Maybe Patoli would die before it even happened. Who knows? We don't know. We're gonna wait and see how that's gonna work out. Maybe Asta will probably say the coolest guy ever. Was kind of hope not. Let's hope not. If that happened, well, shit. But seriously, so the way how it's done is definitely far more acceptable than what we have from any tropes that you have come to know from Naruto or any other shonen series. Honestly, I mean, like I have nothing wrong with Tono Jetsu, right? I mean, I have nothing wrong with Togno Jetsu. It just needs the right context. It needs to have the right delivery. And fortunately, the series saved itself with the right delivery.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, it is pretty hilarious how after the whole thing was done, Asta was like, holy crap, that was close.
I know. It's like, I need water.
He's like, oh my god, I was close. Like, holy shit. It's like, I could have died there somehow. Yeah, honestly, this whole worked out well, and I'm actually intrigued to see where this goes now. Kudos. That's all I got.
Yeah. Like, you even got, like, Patoli saying, like, oh, ridiculous. I've never seen such an idiotic human before. Ass is like, really? You too? I've already got enough people making fun of me as it is. Not to mention you got no Zell over here in the corner, just like, I have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Oh, man.
Yuno's gonna got the same expression too, like, I'm just here for the ride. I'm not even gonna ask anymore.
I'm just here for food.
Although he does have like an inner monologue going, like, that damn Asta, Captain Blinders will just have to hang in there a bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he's like, right now I'm gonna do the only thing I can. Yeah, you won't see this through me with me, to the very end. He's like, yeah, damn right, no matter what it takes, I won't let him have his way. Let him have his way, yeah. He will get his way through this, but a man should not give up. And that is the conclusion of the 200th chapter. So overall, did the chapter live up to the hype? Tabata, in a way, was kind of like building up for the past, I'll say 7 chapters. Practical sense, 194. I want to say yeah, he kind of did, but not in the way that I was expecting it to. Because I remember I was talking to him like, oh, we might get like a big Avengers type of chapter where it's like we have Noel, we have Yami, we have Jack the Ripper. Yeah, we have him in the corner too. Throw in Charmy. It's like, okay, it's like we get like a badass shot of everyone there and going like, all right, now we're gonna take him out. But no, instead we get a huge moment for Asta where he finally realizes that, hey, Julius is dead. So that's another person that just found out. And I think from an emotional aspect, I think it really works there. I honestly do believe that. So I guess if you're looking at it from that perspective alone, I think the chapter worked. But what about you, Sparta? Like, how do you feel now? Like do you feel like it kind of lived up to the hype?
It depends how what hype you're looking for. I mean, for me, all I was asking is anything that's like, oh, what a twist, or something like nothing like a normal daily chapter. Like, oh, right, we're gonna fight him. Oh, he hit me. Oh, I hit him back. Oh, this is gonna get tough. The end. I don't want that kind of chapter. We're like, well, okay, that was kind of weak. I mean, like, not a lot of people had to follow the milestone, but sometimes it's always special when you actually do so. So, in this case, I like this milestone. It's a twist because I didn't think that would actually happen the way. I mean, like, not the way how it handled. I was more surprised how it handled, more so than like the fact what it ended up coming out. Like, again, like if you were to tell me like a summary version, like, okay, this is what happens. Asta went to try to get Vargas, but they didn't see Patoli. They talk, and then they now an ally. I would have been like, why? You know, because I need information. It sounds like they just become friend. Does Asta even know that this guy killed Julius? You know, the Magic Emperor, something that he wanted dreamed about to becoming one day. Hello, but then you look at the chapter, it's like, oh man, this is really damn good. Not only that, but the whole presentation, like just seeing Asta, like he like really wanted to destroy him, but he has to set that aside because they got a bigger enemy than these two. But just seeing how like Asta, like I just like how Asta just like, hey, pleased to meet you. Name's Asta. Finally, we met. It's like he was just holding that grudge, and then the more he walks, the more he gets pissed off. And like, Patoli was trying to back away. It's like, man, I was like, I don't need this. I don't need this. What you humans trying to tell me what to do? And then when he approached him, he's like, you could see Asta was really wanting to destroy him, but he has to put that aside because they know they have a bigger enemy. And with Patoli here, he could benefit a lot. But no, but so he used the only way to motivate him by talking about like what you started everything. You might as well finish it up right now. Like me, I don't stop. When I started, I don't stop until I reach the end game. I reach the end goal. You got to do the same thing, and then this whole thing's happen, and everything just makes a lot of sense in a really correct in the context that really this is the only way to go to. Again, if he would have been like forgiving him after Julius and everything, it's like, huh, it just that would be just incredibly stupid. But thankfully that didn't happen. So when it comes to delivery, it really depends. Like, what do you expect? Do you expect like a big giant explosion and or the demon destroying the entire Clover Kingdom? What is that you're asking? So if you're asking too much grand, I mean, the funny part is there was a spoiler because somebody mentioned like, man, that spoiler was surely a crazy April Fool. I'm like, what he's talking about? I went to check the spoilers.
Yeah, I remember that.
The spoiler was crazy.
It was.
It was so crazy. It was like, okay, you got pretty much pretty much matched the skill level of the devil. I'm like, okay, I know is supposed to be strong, but we just witnessed him still not that strong enough to go against the devil. Not to mention, I understand people like to joke around that is like a Sasuke of this world, but come on, he's not that fast now.
See, if that spoiler had been true, I would have been like, oh God, no.
Yeah, if that was true, I would have like, well, I think look, Black Clover is still going to be fun, but that part, I don't know. That part is the only part I wish it didn't happen. But what can you do, guys? What can you do? That's what I would have been saying. But thankfully, that wasn't true. Not only that, there was a lot of other crazy stuff that happened in that spoilers. One of the funny one was the Nero one.
I know.
He finally revealed to be the first Magic Emperor. It could still happen for the record, but just to happen within the same chapter is just insane.
If that does happen, I wouldn't complain about that one. I'd be like, yeah, sure, let's go with it because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying that the content of that chapter seems so big. It's like there's too many crazy stuff, and then to top it all that, you have Yami about to die. I'm like, all right, what? You got Yami going to die. He's like, what is going on with this? That spoiler? My God, that sounds too insane. I know it's 200 chapter, but my God,
that level.
So yeah. So I'd rather take this very simple. Well, not that simple, but more like just well focused, very contained chapter. All it needs to do is to have Pazzoli come back to his senses, manage to control the darkness, as you could tell is by his eyes, and form an ally. Simple as that. Boom. Good. So yeah, I say I was actually amused by this chapter. I think it delivered the milestone hype.
Yeah, like I said, I honestly believe that's the case too, and I went as far as saying that it's an amazing plus chapter, and maybe you could argue. Well, I don't know if I could say it's pure perfection, but you could make that argument too if it was that case, depending on the person that you are. But yeah, I mean, like I said, it was a crazy chapter. It had a lot of things I wasn't expecting, which honest to God shit happened. As long as it makes sense in terms of the story, then I'm totally cool with that. And I'm very curious in seeing what's going to happen now with Asta and the gang, with now Patri, like,
Mm.
helping them out. And to be fair, they're not allies. We'll give all their allies, but they're not exactly like, oh yes, we're friends now. No, it's not like that at all.
Besties.
Who knows? Maybe when all this is said and done, like it'll be like, all right, like let's let all bygones be bygones, and then Padre pulls like a Sasuke, going like, yeah, I suppose, but why don't I just go ahead and murder the rest of you? I'm like, huh? he,
That would
he,
be sweet. No.
he can pull that approach too. I'm not gonna say he's going to, but that is a possibility that could happen.
Well, the point is, it's all done by the mere fact that this is all based on an enemy of my enemy is my friend. A lot
Mhm.
of series tends to see the difference with the Naruto and the stuff that's happening here.
Yeah,
In Naruto, he legitimately made them good guys. He legitimately made friend with them.
he did.
That's fine to a certain extent, certain level. Now doing that to one of the major villain, like it wasn't like where an enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's more like look at the different lights. If you look at the different lights, you actually become a good guy again. So if you want to be good again, we allow you to be good again.
Yeah.
And if you want to,
I know. I was gonna say that. I know a lot of people have brought up that. Oh, but the same thing happened with Obito when Madara brought up that. Oh yeah, I planned it everything with the whole Rin thing. I'm like, yeah, but the difference is that by that point, Obito already got the Tuck no Jutsu treatment, so it's not like it's completely different here. Where Patri believed in everything what he was doing, and then he got the backstab. It's not like, hey, let's have Asta and Patri talk. He turns good, and then you have the devil come up and be like, hey, you know all that shit that you were trying to do, and now you're trying to make amends for it. Yeah, I'm the cause behind that. Like if that happened, I would have been like, ooh, yikes.
I forgot what series where I'm trying to remember. There was a series where no, not a series. I remember it was a movie. I'm not sure if it's too soon, but it was a superhero movie where I was actually afraid they would form a pack because they found themselves an enemy that could be the actual real deal to their problem that they started to feel with each other. And they found the enemy, but instead the movie made a twist that there is no other enemy. Rather, the enemy will always be will remain be your former best friend. And the twist is the video they show that one of your one of your best friend is a murderer. But there's a different context to it. But the problem is the other guy is not gonna hear it because he just found out that that's how his loved one died. And the fight continues. The same premise of the movie itself, which was awesome. It was a great twist, and it kept in the same level rather than like, oh, this enemy is gonna cure our friendship. Cool. So it didn't do that, thank God, because it was for the best, and it made it awesome, and it made it made the weight even heavier in terms of the battle they had with each other. So yeah, again with here. if they're just allies under the same oath of not an oath, but like on the same mission of taking out the devil. Whatever happens after, we don't know yet. But we'll see what happens after it.
We will definitely see what happens after it. In terms of predictions as to what could happen next, I mean, we did see Yami 2 chapters ago. I'm not gonna make that a joke right now because hasn't been that many chapters yet. So, I mean, look, if it's like 4 chapters later and Yami doesn't show up, then I might incorporate the joke. But right now, it's still a little early for that. So, I think in terms of the next chapter, we might get Yami. It's a possibility, probably. I could see him throwing a huge fit at Patri, and then I don't know how Asta's gonna try to settle the difference here, but that's gonna be pretty amusing to see. I'll say that.
You don't hit him, don't hurt him. Yeah, I mean, it's like he may have done a lot of things, but he is the coolest guy ever.
God.
Oh man.
If that
Hey, at least
no, I'm not gonna say that.
at least the idea. Yeah, it's still selfish that what Patoli did. But it's not a selfish for his own personal gain, but it's selfish for the race of his kind, which is more reasonable, far more reasonable than say the final villains for Naruto. Not including that person that just appeared out of the thin air, but I digress.
Yes.
The one that people likes to compare to the devil, but whatever.
Yeah.
So a lot of Naruto similarity, but the difference is Black Clover is actually doing something that's not trying not to shoot itself in the foot many times.
No, he's not doing that at all, which I do appreciate. Oh,
Yes.
anything else I could see? Probably Charmy. Get Charmy to show up. Get Noel to show. Oh God!
Like if everyone is not busy, I could see them gathering up everybody, and it could gather up with Vettel if he's still around. Maybe the idea, the elves like Kaiser, Vettel, well, Fauna is just trolling.
She is.
So maybe the idea is like instead of them getting killed once again, like oh we're just bad guys, like the disposable bad guy henchmen. I mean nothing wrong with henchmen, but One Piece does it well because they have personality and they always fun. Some other series have trouble with them. This one is actually pretty fine, actually. But instead of use them as disposable, why not just ally them up? It would be a really good twist. It would be a cool twist, which, this series does tend to do a lot of them, especially when you look at chapter 1. Oh, I thought Yuno was going to be a total prick. Oh, I mean, like, in some form, sure. But instead of being an asshole to Asta, they're best friend and a healthy rival. What a twist. So instead, it would be better, in my opinion. I mean, like, hey, if it's just Asta, Nozel, maybe Yami, and Patoli, and Raina, and Mimosa, since she's like a good healer, that's still cool. But if everyone is not busy, maybe they can recruit every single character that's still fighting. Maybe that's why instead of having us to watch the enemy or the good guys get eliminated in their respective battle, the idea is they would just keep on fighting. And then instead, they would just have Asta and Patoli saying, like, hey, enough of the fighting. We got a way bigger fish to fry right now. And then, if that's the case, I'm perfectly fine with that. And then it will makes the reason to have multiple villains, quote unquote, all the more reason. So I would like that type of twist. Because again, we don't need to go round up again of like, hey, we're gonna fight them again and dispose them again. Because some other series did that and it was pointless. Very, very pointless. But in here, it will be a great twist. If it does happen.
That, or the other thing I could see is have your suggestion come up where they join, but when they're taking on the devil, they make the ultimate sacrifice. Patri, Veto, Fauna, the Kaiser, they go out trying to take out the devil. And if that's what happens, I would actually be okay with that. I would honestly be like, okay, I can actually get behind that. But, say if that were to happen, what would your initial thoughts be?
Wait, if they form an ally with every single character?
The elves that, Fauna and Veto and Kaiser, say, they join up, and say when they do take on the devil, they're the ones that make the sacrifice.
That's fine. That's well, that'll be fine too. I mean, yeah, that'll be fine though. Some of them are still real bodies, except for Veto and Fauna. They're clones, so they'll be fine if they die. Not that I want them, but then again, Fauna already has the real Fauna. The original. It's actually still out there. So, bye bye. I don't know. We'll see how. See, it's interesting to see how this is gonna work out. How this is all gonna play out. I think Kaiser can't die unless you're well, we killed both with 2 in 1 stone because, he took Kaiser's body. So, oops. Oh, you killed the painter, and I just remember the anime actually covered the whole backstory. So, oh, that's messed up.
It is gonna mess up actually.
So, it really depends, but that does make it interesting to see who's going to survive and who's going to die. Pasoli can't die; he could disappear, spiritually, but the body has to remain. Otherwise, Vongus would be dead with him. So it's kind of hard,
honestly. But
I'm sorry.
No, good on what you were gonna say.
No, I'm just saying since again, I got a good feeling they might start recruiting everybody, but we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. But I think for the most part, that's pretty much it for the chapter and for predictions for Black Clover, unless I'm missing anything. I mean, I guess what the fandom's kind of been asking for is are we gonna get a possible movie? I don't know.
If they could get that guy, if they could get that guy who did the work, who did the episode, I forgot the episode number. All I know is this is the one that the animation took into a high gear. I was like, whoa, what just happened? The animation went different. In a good way, though. Not Pain versus Naruto, infamous animation battle. Even though technically that is a good animation, it's just the way how they utilize was very, very weird.
Especially if you go from the previous episode to that, it's what the hell?
Yeah, if they do that, I'm again, good animation, technically speaking, but my God, what the hell were they thinking? I can just imagine Asta Demon Form doing the Bugs Bunny with sledgehammer on I don't know, the devil, boom, boom, boom. And then the devil have that my pain is greater than yours in the very It's weird because looking at the animation again with the pain, it looked like it's that recent meme, something about with Chad. I'm not sure how that works, but the artwork looks so freaking bizarre. It's kind of, I don't know. All I'm saying is don't go there. You could have the same animation what we just saw from that episode. I forgot the number already. It's the one that he asked the first time in the demon form. That was the episode I'm talking about.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool.
Doing that for the movie would be kind of pretty epic, actually. Just have Tabata working the back the storyboard, and boom, we got ourselves a hell of a movie. Be a hell of a popcorn entertainment because again, the action in this series is it's really entertaining. I really like the whole teamwork. I like the creativity of the teamwork. And a lot of people, a lot of characters get their screen time, and not just being like, well, I'm just gonna I'm gonna point my finger there, and there you go there. Instead, be like, oh, you find a boss, I'll help you by doing this and that, and then voila. um, you know, a small jab, but whatever.
Honestly. Yeah. So in terms of that, um, just wait and see what happens. That's all I'm gonna say. Just wait and see what happens. Maybe Perry will be like, "Hey, let's get the Bleach director who did the 4 Bleach movies because those were good." Well, I mean, I got a bias for Fade to Black, but that is, at least to me, the best movie in the out of the 4. But we get him, then who knows? There's a chance. That being said, you guys, this has been pretty much very fun, a very interesting commemoration, celebration for the 200th chapter of Black Clover. Sparta, it was really great having you on board again for another Black Clover podcast, especially this one in particular.
Yeah. Well, glad to be here. May need a long sleep after this because I'm trying not to extend my sleep code. Like, oh no, now I cannot wake up for an entire day. Crap. But it was worth it. It was definitely worth it to be here to talk about the 200th chapter, the milestone that Tabata rightfully deserved. And it was great to be here as always.
And with that being said, you guys, that is pretty much it. I'm Lucky7,
Sparda3g.
and we will catch you guys next time. Peace. Movie.